Okay, are we good? Excellent, finally. That's working. Yep, good. Okay, so we're good. Excellent. Number 15's having a bit of a snooze in the middle there. All right, there we go. Right, far more stable. Excellent, there we go. Welcome everyone, how you doing? Hey, thanks very much for the support yesterday. We had over 120 hours of watched time on yesterday's live stream, and it was a really good stream. We caught and released 12 black bream, and on top of that had a very, very funny moment with someone that wasn't meant to be on the property. But anyway, that's all sorted now. So this is our weekly or fortnightly stream, depending on how busy they are, where we come in and we monitor the progress of the turtles that we have in rehabilitation at the local Discovery Centre in Bunbury, Western Australia. Excuse me. So what we'll do is we'll just do what we normally do. We will check in on them. We're going to show everyone what is involved to get them back to full health. Now with the turtles, they've released 300 turtles back into the wild over 25 years, which is equivalent to 300,000 eggs in nature because they have such a high mortality rate, okay? So what we'll do is we'll just turn the camera around. All right, and then when we turn the camera around, we'll just do what we normally do, show the food preparation, make everyone aware of what's going on. And the good thing, what we've done is we've contributed to the Adopt a Turtle program, and on top of that, I've managed to organise some corporate sponsorship for the people here by showing businesses and other people about the job that the volunteers do here rehabbing these turtles. So what we'll do is we'll turn around the camera, right, we'll go in, I'll introduce you to the volunteers that are on today, all right, and then we'll just work from there. Okay. Now which one's the, right, that's the close in one, which might be better I think. Right, so what we have here, we have a holding tank. So when the turtles are taken out, of the aquariums they put into here. Now this one here, that's on top where it's got its fins tucked in, okay, was just having a little bit of a snooze. At this size, apparently they can take one gulp of air and then they can drop down to the bottom and they can actually hold their breath for about 6 minutes underwater. Once they get older and bigger with their lung capacity, it becomes 5 or 6 hours. So what we have here is the turtle man. Did you ever see the controversy with the turtle man, Mansi, where what happened? Apparently they had to sedate animals or something to put them on the show. There was a huge uproar. All right. So each one of these turtles, when they're brought in here, they're given a number because you need to be able to identify them. Then after they're given a number, now the reason why they're all heading down here towards the tank is they think that I'm going to feed them. See how they're sticking their head up, right? And then they're given a number. I'll show you the charts that they use, okay? They will put a chart up on the tank showing if there's any parts of their shell or their body that's damaged. Like for example, this one here, number 12, its left rear flipper has been damaged, either bitten or damaged in the storm, as it is with number 9. Okay, and number 15 here, I think it's right hand. No, that one's actually not too bad. Okay, so we have volunteers that come in and tend to them daily. We also have vets that come down and monitor their progress, and they're tied in. Is it Aqua in Perth that the rehab program's tied up with, or the zoo? Both. Both, oh okay. So, and is there another rehab centre like this anywhere? No. Yeah, because I thought this is the only one in the whole area, like from Albany to like Perth. Yep, okay. So what happens is they get brought back here and they're put into a safe environment compared to what they'd have in the wild. And then from there, once they release full health, they will be put back into the wild and released in Exmouth. Now, just in here, we have a really quite large turtle. As you can see there, the back right flipper has been damaged. See how that back right flipper is not as long as the other one? All right. Hey there, Sam. How are you, mate? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for popping in. And this one here is about 1.5 years old. Now, I'm not going to take the cover off the tank because it's not my business to, right? And I think that one's having a bit of a snooze. That's why it's on the bottom. Alrighty. So that one there is about the size of an Australian rules football. All right. And no one likes being disturbed when they're having a sleep. So see that fin, that back flipper, not as big as the other one. And usually when they have a snooze like that, they'll tuck their fins in on the side of the shell from what we've seen. And probably the best example is this number 18 here. So check out number 18. Oh, right in the light, great. Right, see number 18? See how it's on the surface? And it's just tucked its fin into the side of its shell. All right, that's having just a little nap. It's having a little nana nap. Okay, and what that does is it just drifts, but obviously if this was in nature, it'd be really susceptible to sharks and all sorts of stuff, and it may get... That's right. How are you, Mark? Welcome, mate. So, yeah, there we go. So as you can see, they'll just swim around in here till they get a little bit bigger. Now what's happened is the turtles have been shifted upstairs to a larger aquarium. Hey, Gripper USA, how are you, bud? So what they'll do is they'll, they come down here, they get put into the tanks, and then when they're healthy enough, they'll get released back into the wild, probably about 1.5 years. So here we have coral rehab. So what it is, when they go out and they do the diving and that sort of stuff, they'll come back in here with pieces of coral, and then what they'll do is they'll put them in an absolutely perfect environment, okay? And when they're in that environment, then what they'll do is they'll get them to regenerate. In here we have little baby stingrays, see down there? Right, these were actually born in the aquarium upstairs. We've got 2 in here. Now you can see them moving on the bottom. Right, they were actually born in the aquarium. They've been brought straight down here because they would end up being fodder if they were left in there, all right? So they're quite, you know when you sort of stir, well I used to get stirred up for having big feet. The tails on these when they're really young are usually about 1.5, maybe even twice the length of the body. So I don't know whether that's a defensive measure, right? And yeah, they're quite oddly shaped. Obviously they grow into their tails. So here what we have is, we have some more coral, okay? So you're not allowed to bump the tanks. There's a little anemone there, which they will use later to put into the aquariums so that the clownfish can swim in and around them, as the ones at the back there. Okay, so check that out. See, these are actually alive. All right, Daz, how are you, bud? So these are actually alive, and what they'll do is they'll get put into maybe that's the light. They'll get put into other. They'll get put into the tanks upstairs and provide habitat for the fish that are on display. So we have other little bits of coral here. So this is technically a coral garden. All right, they're put under the correct type of lighting. They're put under the correct type of lighting for them, okay? So what they're getting is the absolute perfect conditions that they probably even wouldn't get in the wild, if you know what I mean. So what they've got here is they actually have a fish belting around in here, okay? Not doing too good a job by the looks of it. Come on, get out from under there. Right. What I'm going to do is, that might be a better zoom. There we go. Right, as you can see, and as you can see just down in here on the right hand side, they've got little bits of coral that are, I guess, more or less like a little flower pot, really. Let's just chuck it in there. Right. So what they do is they get put on here, okay? You just have little bits of coral that are put on here, and they get them to take, and then once they take, they'll get bigger, okay? And then they will put them up in the top there. Now, that's the blue fish out of Nemo. I don't know what the breed is, but yeah, that one there's the blue fish out of Nemo. So that's the one, I can't even remember what it was called really. All right, so what we'll do now is we'll just work our way around. Okay. Morning. Oops, sorry mate, you're up. Okay, so, sorry, cool. Special guest appearance from Laurie Daly today. He does. He looks like, look at him. He looks exactly like Laurie Daly, that, like the old psycho Australian swim coach. All right. So, what they'll do, this one here is on its own. This one's name is Solo, I'm guessing. And Solo is down from the Perth Zoo, okay? And as you can see, Solos, what they do is when they bring them down, they'll do an assessment. So his right front flipper, okay, he's got a spot on his left front flipper, and his also left back flipper have been damaged. And what he'll do is he'll just get put in here, right? And then when he gets put in here, he'll get fed and cared for. And then when he's well enough, one of the bad signs is they don't eat, okay? And then, because they usually eat once a day, don't they?
Well, we feed twice.
Twice, but is once enough, or you need to give them twice?
Twice usually, because they vary in sort of hungriness.
Yeah, right, okay.
They might feed really well in the morning and not in the afternoon, but they usually have very good appetites.
Okay. Hey Paul, how are you? Hey Cash Money Johnson. Oh, that's okay, Paul. Thanks for your support yesterday by watching the stream, mate, and looking at the clips. What are good signs that they're actually doing okay? Obviously, once they excrete, it means they're actually eating enough.
Yeah.
They send a little cloud out.
Yeah. They're pooing basically.
Yep.
They're also diving.
Yep.
That's the main thing. There's no buoyancy issues, so they don't have air trapped in their shell. And
when you say air trapped in the shell, that's internal technically.
Yeah.
So how does that get in there?
It's usually ingested with things like plastics and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And if they've got maybe a split in the shell, you might get air coming in there as well.
Do they ever get x-rayed?
Sometimes in Perth Zoo, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, we had one with a crook shoulder, which we thought was dislocated, and they did x-rays at Perth Zoo, and they found out it was actually a little infection in there. So that's Shane, it's up in the big one.
Yeah.
And they just, antibiotics as good as gold.
Wow, see in nature they wouldn't get that.
No.
They'd have to survive themselves, wouldn't they?
Yeah, this guy's got a little bit of skin trouble underneath.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know whether that was a fungus or...
Yeah. So we're going to get him out later on, dry him off, and coat that with betadine.
Really? Just like a normal cut?
Just like a normal cut. Yeah.
Oh, that is hilarious. Okay. All right, fam. So I'll just show you in here. Now, if you have a look underneath that turtle, see how it has funny coloured skin underneath it? Okay. So the poor little bugger, he's got a little bit of a fungal infection there, right? And just on the bottom there, see where you've got that pale coloured skin at the rear, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to take him or it out of the tank later on, okay? And when they take it out of the tank, then what they're going to do is they're going to dry the shell off. And much like a kid that has a cut or a scratch, they're just going to douse it in betadine, let it dry off. Now, will you put it back in the water with the betadine still on it, or will that contaminate the water?
No, we'll leave about half an hour so it dries.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we'll go back.
And they're fine out of the water for that long, no dramas?
Yeah. Quite
Okay, wow. All right, so Solo, obviously with the Star Wars theme, Solo will be tended to later. What time are you going to be doing that?
Oh, after we do all food prep.
Okay.
Too short. I'll give you a yellow.
Yeah, no dramas. We'll probably be down here. So the other thing they do here, okay, for those of you that are Nemo fans, we have a heap of Nemos in this tank, but relatives of Nemo. Okay, hey Hydro Records, how are you, mate? Yeah, these are loggerhead turtles. So what happens is we've had what a lot of people call a traditional winter. Back in the old days when it had actually rained for nearly 3 months straight. We've had that first winter for the first time in about, oh, God knows, probably about, what, 10 years?
At least 10 years.
Yeah, at least 10 years. And what's happened is, because of all the storms and that sort of stuff, there's been an increasing number of turtles washed up on beaches, and they are brought into this rehabilitation centre. Then what they will do, oh, this one's diving, that's good. So he started to dive, that's a good sign, isn't it?
Very good sign.
Okay, great. And so they get brought back in, they get nursed back to health. So on average, 1 in 1,000 eggs in nature makes it. So the fact that they've released 300 turtles in about 25 years is equivalent to 300,000 eggs. So it's a big deal, you know. Now, these are the little Nemos, okay? They also have little seahorses. Now, this seahorse is heavily pregnant by the looks of it with the swollen abdomen, okay? We'll just zoom in on it. Right, so as you can see there, the belly's quite swollen in there, right? And what it does is with the seahorse, they'll latch around structure like this plastic plant. They'll latch around that. Okay, and then they'll just maintain their position there. Now that one's probably having a bit of a snooze, okay? And that's a Cuda seahorse. Right, now they feed on mysis shrimp and aquariums, okay? Now here we have a tang and flame tomato clownfish. So I didn't realise there were so many different species. I think they do, it's the male seahorses that, yeah, the male seahorses that give birth, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, okay. So, right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Now, how's that for sharing duties, eh? Right. So this is a tang and flame tomato clownfish there. Then we have the peculiar clownfish. This is actually Nemo, I think, isn't it? Is that Nemo, fam? Is that Nemo there? Or is Nemo a different colour again? Beautiful colours. Now, these gold-headed, gold-tailed, gold-finned, black and white bodied clownfish are the Clark eye variant, okay? And what we have here now, these little suckers in here are about the size of my little fingernail. Absolutely tiny. Right, absolutely tiny, see? They feed on frozen brine and flake as well. So they'll just put the food into the tank and just leave it there. They'll pick at it at their leisure. Now this is a Ocellaris clownfish. So predominantly tangerine belly. Okay, and as it goes to the back of the clownfish, it goes a darker colour. Right, there we are. Quite inquisitive little creatures. Okay. Now the extent that they go to provide a natural environment for these. Hey Hydro. Oh, they are. They're such a beautiful little fish. Now the extent that they go to, let me just show you this, right? We'll just bring this right back here. So what they've done here, they've actually got an anemone in the tank with the clownfish. See, look. See that there? So this is exactly what they would be doing in the wild. They would be forming their symbiotic relationship with the anemone, okay, and they just mill around and they do what they're doing, and that's exactly what would be happening in the wild. So that sort of gives them a much smoother transition, okay? And then we have another anemone in here, and this was actually further to the left recently. It's sort of moving along very slowly. Now yeah, there it is. There's a little cheeky clownfish just in there, okay? So that's what these do. The anemones will latch onto structure, and then the clownfish will come in, and then they'll, you know, clean them and groom them and do what they do. So this is the tomato clownfish, right? So this is slightly different to the Ocellaris. I didn't realise there were so many different subspecies, okay? And these are back to the peculiars down here, okay? Now I wonder if there's any sea turtles in here. Right. Now, sorry mate. We have a new one that's been brought in from Windy Harbour. That's my old stretch of the woods. We're actually going to be doing a live stream from Windy Harbour. So with the number 32, that's the 32nd sea turtle in here. Nathan John, how are you, bud? Welcome. Okay, and this one's actually come in relatively unscathed. Hello, mate. You think you're getting fed, don't you? So, yeah. And the name of this one is Yoni. When did Yoni come in, Shane?
I believe only in the last couple of days, mate. So it was found on the 4th of the 9th.
So 4th of September, yep.
Yeah, at Windy Harbour.
Yeah, that's my old neck of the woods.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I love Windy Harbour.
Yeah.
They've got a 2-wheel drive beach down there called Salmon Beach. It's a bit of a walk, caught everything down there. You go to the rocks on the left and catch blue groper, and then you catch salmon and everything, silver brim, the whole lot further up.
If you keep your salmon.
Oh, mate, they're actually not a bad eating fish if you prep them. You've got too much fine hurt cuisine, mate. Yeah, sorry, not 5 stars. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Hello, Wild Huntress. Welcome. So this is Yoni. Yoni was found on the 4th of September. Now, as you can see, Yoni isn't as busy as the other sea turtles, so still might be in a little bit of shock. But as you can see by the little diagram here, Yoni doesn't have any damage to its shell or its body, but what it may well do, it just may well be beaten up, because this one here would have come out of the Southern Ocean, okay? And the Southern Ocean compared to the Indian Ocean that we normally fish in our beach streams, well, Yoni's diving, which is good. He's trying to dive, that's good. Okay. And he's a little bit bigger than a lot of the other ones that are in here, so hopefully Yoni gets back to full health really quickly. So with the Southern Ocean, that's a much deeper ocean than the Indian Ocean. So when we did that live stream at Walpole last year, we went out about 3 nautical miles. We're in nearly 100 metres of water. So far stronger currents. Even the waves seem to crash a lot heavier in the Southern Ocean, you know. So it's just a much sort of tougher and much colder ocean than the Indian Ocean. But Yoni's now here in the intensive care unit, and what they will do is they will monitor its progress, okay, and then they will do everything they can to restore them back to full health and bring them back into the wild, you know. Morning, mate, how you going?
You're a good lady? Hi, Douglas, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Have you done safety induction?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. Okay, as long as she stays with you,
Yeah.
because I'm just about to leave in 60 seconds.
Right, so they're feeding the Clark Eye now. Is that a brine solution or?
Brine and
Because if there's anything happens,
Mysis shrimp. Oh, okay, lovely.
and when you get a chance, definitely fill that.
She's already.
Oh yeah, they go absolutely feral. It's like throwing a tennis ball at a puppy, isn't it, you know?
Yeah, time sheet.
Thanks,
There
mate.
we
Sorry
go.
to rush on.
Send
I got
over.
a Centrelink.
Take
care.
No worries, mate.
Morning, Emily. Thanks for coming straight in.
All right. So do the same with the second one?
Yeah, now the second lot, just spread it out amongst this, but only use half of it because they've got tiny little stomachs. So basically, it's just a little bit of a squirt in each one. So and there should be half of it for the sake.
So can they guts themselves, can they?
Their stomach is only about the size of their eyeball.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why we don't give them too much. Otherwise, the last thing you want is an overfed fish. It tends to be fatal.
Really?
Now, if you feed them too much, yeah, they'll just and
Yeah, full.
yeah. So we just give them a little squirt and
Okay.
gobble it up and.
So just the bottom or bottom and top?
No, everything from, actually no, this guy probably needs a bit more.
Yeah.
Basically just from...
I don't know what a bit minor program is, Huntress, but I'm sure you'll tell me later.
Yeah.
And yeah, just the 80 ones.
All right.
basically.
So just a little bit each and
Yeah.
leave about half for the
Yeah,
top.
and I'll just get some dry food.
The dry food's over there.
Yeah.
Like a tiny bit of that one that I
Yeah.
gave the other guy.
No, flake food.
Flake
Just
food.
some marine flakes
Alright.
there. So just a little squirt, and like I say, only half of what's in there across the lot of them.
Mm-hmm. No worries.
So what they do every morning is they'll process herring, squid, you call them pippies or cockles or cockles, okay, and then coral prawns, and they cut them down into bite-sized pieces so that the turtles can chew them. Oh, okay. I have no idea what cryptocurrency is either, but I'm sure everyone will tell me in Discord later. Right, so this is the standard process. Every morning at 7 AM they're down here, and what they'll do is they'll cut the fish up, they'll cut the prawns up, everything, and they'll do like a little, I think they eat better than me, And then, as you can see, they're just cutting them down into smaller size pieces, right? And then that way the little sea turtles won't have any issues trying to eat what they're fed, and that way it'll be a lot better for them. Can they sometimes choke when they're smaller?
Yeah, they could do if the food is too big, so we've got to
Right.
make it a bit smaller.
And they can't tell the difference between a plastic bag and a jellyfish, can they? Bugger. Yeah, that's why you never leave rubbish in the water, fam.
Shane, the big one over there, he actually passed a small blue helium balloon.
You're kidding. You know what they use the helium balloons for?
Yeah.
The fishing. When they do the, what they'll do is they'll attach to a bait to a helium balloon, and then they skip it out with the easterly winds.
The worst offenders of that sort of thing is actually those memorial balloons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people go to the beach, put them up, they get blown out to sea, and they're a double-edged, they're double fatality, because you've got the balloon, which fish will eat, and turtles and seabirds, but you've also got all the ribbons.
Oh,
which
no.
cause entanglement. So it's a bit of a pet hate of ours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, is to try and educate people that releasing those balloons is really just, it's really bad for the environment. So,
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Hydro, no, the clowns aren't rescue. They actually breed the clowns here for the displays. And then what they'll do is do they release the clownfish back into the world?
They're traded with the aquarium trade.
Oh,
We
right.
don't sell them, we trade them, and we don't have a license to sell them. For things like corals and
Yeah, fair enough.
pumps and stuff. Yeah,
Bit of a barter.
Barter system.
Good
Yeah,
work.
they hope to get a license one day, but that's a long way away. So.
Okay, I'll get out of your
No,
way.
no, that's all right. That's what What do you want this?
Oh, just back in the fridge.
Sorry, mate. Tear off. Beautiful.
All right, are you on that? You're on happy on this side? It's just a plate food to go into the big one.
Yeah, just give them a little pinch.
Which one? The marine?
Yeah, marine flight. Yeah.
The one with probiotics or one without?
Excuse me.
Just give the normal stuff. Yeah, that one.
28?
So as you can see, it's a fairly intensive job every day, and these volunteers aren't acknowledged enough for the work that they do. Yeah, normally I come in on a Wednesday and do it, but yesterday was perfect fishing conditions. So we went down to the local river and caught and released 12 black bream in the morning, which was a good effort.
Good size.
Yeah, 20 to 42 centimetres. Yeah. Oh, I've got permission from a farmer to fish private property,
Oh, yeah.
so no one hardly goes there. That's why there's fish there, you know. And then, of course, some bloke pops up out of nowhere, you know, giving us the rundown on why he's allowed to fish the joint. So,
All right, done that, Shane?
and what happens is everything that gets done with the feeding of the turtles, okay, gets put on this board, right? So with this board, anybody that comes in, it's like their communication board. Anybody that comes in just looks at the board and they know exactly what's going on. Okay, and that's like their communications board. So that's consistent. It's filled in every day, right? And that way, what they'll do is they continually monitor all the progress when feeding them, and also their rehab and everything. Now this one seems to have picked up a bit. Okay. That one seems to have picked up a bit. It did try and dive down. So, is that around, that's mainly, is that where it excretes from? Where it's got the little fungus?
Yeah, just at the back there, mate. No, not quite there.
Not quite there?
The anus is actually that pointy little bit right at the end.
Oh,
Of the
right
shaft,
at the
so,
end.
yeah.
Oh, okay, righto.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is they prepare the food down here and also for up at the main aquarium, that really big one, but we won't be able to go up to that big one today because they've got 100 school kids here today. Oh yeah, no, I'll give it a miss. Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Favourite turtle food, squid heads.
Squid heads, really? Okay. You feed that to Shane, the big
Shane,
one, or?
Yeah, yeah. He's big enough to handle them, so.
Okay. He's nearly ready to go back, isn't he?
He'll go back probably in April next year.
Wow.
Yeah, he needs to be around. He was a bit of an oddball in that he was actually born in November last year, and he was found quite early in the season. He was found a couple of months ago, whereas most of these guys only come in the last 6 or 8 weeks.
Right.
He was found about 4 months ago. So he was actually last year's bird. So he'll be about, the way he's going, he'll be about 4 kilos when he's released.
And that's what you want him to be, about 4 kilos?
About 3.5, 4 kilos. Yeah.
Wow, and how long does that take him to get to?
It won't take too long. These guys put on weight real quick. Real quick.
Wow.
Shane, when he came in, was 219 grams. I don't know what the last weigh was, but he's probably around 2.3 kilos.
2.3 kilos?
Around that, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so they do put on a lot of weight quite quickly. So.
Okay. How long will you keep Yoni in that little blue container over there and then?
Not long.
Okay.
He's doing quite well, mate. So if he's swimming okay, feeding okay, he'll go over that tank.
Oh, in the big tank.
Yeah,
Okay.
quick, yeah.
So when they're smaller like that and they have a new turtle that's introduced into a controlled environment like that, are they fairly civil to one another, or do they like?
They're usually until food's around.
Oh, right.
Then,
Yeah. Okay.
They, like all animals, they'll try and get most of it themselves. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see that. And you'll see that when they feed. As long as they're swimming okay, they won't stay in those tanks for very long at all. So you've got to be hydrated. So if they look really poor, we'll start them off with about 25% fresh water.
Yep.
25% salt, 75% fresh.
Yep.
And then we'll gradually switch them around so it's 100% salt.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they got to acclimatise them to
they're
the.
usually dehydrated because the only way they get their water is through the food they eat.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't breathe or don't circulate salt water. They're like dolphins. The dolphins don't take in salt water. Dolphins get their moisture through the food that they eat. Turtles are exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah, so they don't take in salt water and change that to fresh water.
But so are most fish saline?
Fish are different to kettlefish.
No, but they eat the fish.
Yeah.
So is the
But
fish?
the fish has fresh water inside it. The fish convert fresh water to salt water to fresh.
Wow.
Dr. Carl does a really good, not blog, but what you're doing,
Yep.
for salt water, how fish transfers salt water to fresh water.
Unbelievable.
It's a really good.
So even though they live in salt water, the fish have fresh water inside of them.
Yes, yeah, they can.
But then if you put a saltwater fish in fresh water, it'll die.
It'll die. Yeah. It's just the light.
There you go. I'm going to go and find Dr. Carl,
Yep.
and I'm going to put that in our Discord so everyone can go and watch it.
Yeah, it's on Dr. Carl's. It's in one of those top things,
Isn't it amazing how nature works? Like, I mean, I've been fishing practically the whole life, and 50 years into it, you find out that fish have got fresh water inside them. And that's how dolphins and turtles get their fresh water.
Yeah, through the fish that they eat.
So obviously when they starve, they're not hydrated as well because they don't have enough food and water.
Yeah. So that's why if you find this turtle on the beach, returning it to the water is almost like a death sentence because they're usually dehydrated, fatigued, and probably hungry as well. So by getting them in this network is really probably the only chance of survival. You know?
Wow. So yeah, obviously if they're not strong enough to be in the ocean, then they're on the land, they're not strong enough to go back there.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so, but once you've rehab, they're fine. So.
Okay, I'll show you these sea turtles, Christopher. Right, hey Jan. So, here we go, Christopher. What we do now is, this is a bigger tank, right? So in this bigger tank, we have more sea turtles, right? Now this is not turtle bingo. The numbers on the back of the sea turtle shells are for identification, right? So, various numbers and that sort of stuff. Now one of the volunteers is going to start feeding the sea turtles in a minute. So what we will do is we will show you how they feed them. Okay. This big one here, its name is Shane. Shane's about 3.2 something kilos. They're going to get Shane to about 4 kilos, and then when they get Shane to 4 kilos, what they will do is work from there. So the other thing is too, this year when we go fishing on the beach and that sort of stuff, and we catch herring and we catch whiting, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the herring and the whiting back here so that they can feed the sea turtles with them, all right? And that way, away they go. So, something like that, Christopher. Yeah, so herring and whiting don't have a minimum legal size, they have a bag limit, so there aren't any issues with their populations and that sort of stuff. And they actually stopped the commercial fishing for herring a few years ago, and with that commercial fishing and the netting of the species being removed, they actually have come back quite significantly, okay? And it's just win-win for everyone. That's why you'll start seeing more Australian salmon, okay? And it'll just filter right the way through. So if you've got something at the base of the food chain like herring and their numbers increase, there's a flow-on effect to the apex predators in the food chain like Australian herring and also sharks, etc. Okay. Apparently there's over there's something about 170 odd different species of sharks that are now under threat due to overfishing with commercial fishermen for the shark fin trade. So, hey there Jose, how are you mate? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, they are mate, and they're quite vulnerable, so you know. Sorry about that mate. Is that okay there? Is that going to be in anyone's way there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thanks mate, how you been keeping? How's work now that you've graduated? All good? Oh, don't get caught in there, champ. Come on, get away from that cord. Yeah, that's it. When they feed them, they try not to get any food on the cords and that sort of stuff, because obviously if they start biting the cords, come on, out you go. What are you doing? You're trying to beat the cord up. Now number 15 here's got pole position. It's got 2 flippers holding onto the pipe, and I don't think anyone else is getting near that in a hurry. Number 12 must be hungry, because what it's doing is it's facing the tank, and when it sees me it lifts its head out of the water and it opens its mouth. That's what they do when they want to get fed. Okay, so oh, nice one. Hello, Cartoon Ed. How are you, Jimbo? Oh, you went for the Masters after you finished, Jose. Good work, man. Well done. Congratulations. Excuse me. Thought that one was going to take off then. So do the turtles have a bit of a body clock? Do they know roughly when they're going to get fed?
When you stand next to the tank, I think they're always hungry.
Okay, oh, they're always hungry?
Oh, they seem to be, mate. If you stand there, they'll sort of put your hand there, they'll come straight up thinking they're going to get fed.
Wow.
Which will happen in a minute. So when I finish cutting, the girls are going to feed Shane in a minute. So.
Oh, okay, yep, well, we'll just go over there and set up. Shano feels a bit spoilt. Now what we'll do, fam, they're going to come over and feed Shano in a second. Let's just get into here. Right. What I'll do is I'll show you some of the other varieties of clownfish. Okay, so these are tomato clownfish. Right. There we go. There are so many different colours. Oh, nice one, Jose. That's great, mate. So what they do, they just have a couple of ceramic flower pots. That one's a bit jittery. It'll come out the back there in a second. Let's have a look. Is he still hiding or what? There he is. Or it is, sorry. Right. Then, yeah, I didn't realise there were so many different varieties. So there's another one. This is a gold banded maroon clownfish. Okay. Who obviously likes to photobomb. Well done. Right. And this is a Clark Eye clownfish there at the back. Obviously a Greater Western Sydney supporter, or Richmond. Okay. Gold band maroon. Where's the other one? Here it is. Oh, there we are. So that is a mating pair in there. This guy's more protective than you down at the local pub, Jimbo. Okay. Really? So you can actually buy these, wow, from, wow, okay. I don't know whether you're allowed to keep them in Australia. I guess you should be able to. So here we go, Famo. These are the tomato clownfish again. That's that little jittery one that sort of shoots off every time we come near it with the camera. And this one's maintaining his territory. Righto, it's time to refeed Shane. Hello, Shane. Yeah. All right. So Shano's having a bit of a snooze, but I'm sure Shane won't mind getting woken up with a bit of food. So what they'll do is they'll shake the water. So Shane, there he goes. He's picked up already. Hey, oh, oh wow.
Did it take long to drop it down? No, here we go.
Shane's a legend.
See what you mean about it.
Oh.
So how many pieces of corn do they have? Oh, the whole lot of it.
All right, so this is a squid head, which is a turtle's favourite food. Right, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. Here you go. Oh, no. There you go, Shano. So he's gulping that down.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that the fish had fresh water inside of them, and that's where a lot of the creatures get their water from.
At the moment, he doesn't look interested. Just
There he is. Oh, we showed them before, Cosmos, but I'll show again. Yeah, they're cute little things, aren't they? There he goes. That's a squid head. That's their favourite food. Jeepers. I think Shane's middle name's Hoover. Do they, when they eat like that, do they move off to help them digest the food and swallow it down?
No idea. Sorry.
Once the children are coming in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Right guys, just squeeze yourself in so everyone's out of the rain first.
Now, Mary, there you go. That's where the little
Yes, this is our little possible check. Come in a bit more. Now, obviously you won't have been down here before, but who's been in
These.
our dog?
These are the little stingrays down here. Okay.
Did you?
Oops.
So this is our aqua shed, and this is where we have sick animals and baby animals and our breeding animals. So in here we've got our clownfish. We do have a clownfish breeding program. So we've got a few different types. The ones you can see in here are called your gold band maroons. Now they are the most vicious of the clownfish species. They like to bite quite a lot. In the end here you've got the pretty ones that are also quite vicious. They're your tomatoes. Here we've got some clarkies. They're my favourite for their colourings. And then the ones that most people know that look like Nemo, your ocellaras and your Hercules. Now, these guys, they breed when they want to, but we try to...
Shane's got a healthy appetite, eh?
So we'll come back to the turtles here.
Wow.
Now in here is some of the babies we have.
Hey Tash, how you going?
Now,
I'm just going to leave that there like that.
we have lots of different ages. Our Clarkie babies here are our biggest ones. So they're about the same size now. And then you've got some tomatoes, you've got some Hercules.
So they'll swim off to help them swallow their food.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
This is the first time I've done this.
Hey Will, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream. What we're doing now is we're feeding the largest of the sea turtles. Okay, Shane's over 3 kilos now. They've got to get Shane to 4 kilos before they release it. And their favourite food is squid heads. There we go. Tell you what, he's going ham there, isn't he, eh?
Because none of them ever become adults apart from 2. So clownfish, when they are born, they don't have an egg. And what happens to every group, so these guys are a bit young yet, but what will happen soon is one will start attacking all the others and will become the dog.
There you go. And the fact that he's diving down to get the food is a really good sign that he's in good health.
And then another one will be the same process that we submit to female and female.
Oh, gulp of air.
What happens then is it happens that the male changes to female, and one of the juvenile will step up to female. And that's to make sure that the species knows until we can reach and
Bit of a fail there, Shane, eh?
Now, if you all kind of work, some can work yourself around here, some can work yourself around this side. In here, we've got some of our baby turtles. Now, you guys come have a look because I see these every day. I don't need to look at them. Now, can anyone tell me what type of turtles these are?
Definitely not.
Brown ones.
They're loggerheads. So we have 5 species of sea turtles here in Australia, and all of them are endangered. Now, your loggerheads here, only 1 in 1,000 makes it to be an adult. So to be an adult, they hit about 25. Now that's not many, is it? No. So when we go up to the Intern Centre, I'll tell you a bit more about them. We've got more up there as well. We've had 22 this year. We have one, he's just coming out there. He's much bigger than the rest. His name is Shane. Shane was the first turtle we found, and he was found really, really early. He was found in January. And they don't finish hatching until February. So he's over 2 kilograms now.
Not really Dr. Chemistry because they'll transition them up into the main aquarium where they will learn to feed on their own. And he's been brought down here because he was unwell. They had to send him off to the Perth Zoo to get... it actually is going to go back into the wild, Jose. That's what they'll do. They'll bring them up to speed here and then they release them in Exmouth in the north of Western Australia, which is their natural habitat.
Bigger babies up there as well, but those little guys are only about a month and a half old now. They're cute, huh? Does anyone know what the stingray baby's called? Good job, well done. Which I think is pretty cool.
Is he at limit? How often do they bring the groups in, Tash?
This is a his teacher groups, so we've got about 5 or 6 groups today.
Okay.
So,
All right, how far apart are they?
So there's one in here, a few in here, and these just hatched last night.
The next one is going to be at 10 o'clock.
Okay, so about a half hour. That's right, we'll wind up just before the next one comes down.
Once you've had a look, come back down to make sure everyone gets a good shot.
Yeah, so how they come into the centre is how they get released. You're actually not allowed to keep these as pets, but you're allowed to rehab them. So Shano's at limit now. He's reached critical mass. So now what we're going to do is they're going to feed the little ones. Now this is more of a feeding frenzy. Okay. Beg your pardon? I don't own the joint, mate. Do what you like. Just don't get too rowdy, ladies. You know what you like when you get together. You get that pack instinct happening, you know. We don't need that today. That one's Shane over there. Yeah, they're all loggerhead turtles. So what happens is with all the winter storms and that, they get found on the beaches. They get brought in here. They get they build them up to about 4 kilos, and then they let them go back at Exmouth with depaw. Oh yeah, poor things. But when they get down here and then the storms get them, they sort of tend to lose their track, you know. So they're going to feed the main take in a second. Okay. Yeah, they feed. Yeah, they feed on the squid, and the squid are attracted by the light, and then the turtles follow the squid. There you go, fam. So what's happening is now they'll try and feed these turtles individually, and then what they'll do is they'll take. No, they might want to get your tweezers back. That one's healthy.
Drop down. Is that a problem? Oh no, Aiden had another bit of raw. Fine. So that was 20, 12, sorry.
That wasn't the day that I picked the boat up, Will. That was one of the streams. I'm going to be uploading the night stream soon too. So we did a big night stream over 7 hours, and that was a really good stream as well. So, yeah.
Were you
good, mate? Yourself? What are you doing, Axel? Yeah.
Excellent. Good morning.
How are you, mate? Okay, man of the hour, Axel's here.
Hello.
Hey.
They can't see me.
No. They're watching the turtles getting fed. So yeah, Shane's come along well, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he was unwell, and they sent him off to Perth to get checked, didn't they? Or
I can't remember. Right at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there we go. I didn't know that, but apparently all the fish in the ocean don't have salt water and they're not saline, they've got fresh water in them. They turn the salt water into fresh water. That's how the dolphins and the turtles get their water out in the ocean.
Yeah, from the
I didn't even know that.
Basically, the main food source is obviously fish, and from the fish and from what they eat.
Wow.
From the blood is where they get the water, basically.
Wow.
There are some species that can separate from salt from the sea.
Yeah.
But not dolphins and stuff. They don't separate it.
What's the lifespan on these loggerheads again?
Up to 100 years.
Yeah, 100 years, yeah. And some of those other...
There's very little known. All they found is basically from specimens, etc.
Yeah, and some of those land tortoises and that...
50 to 100 years roughly.
Some of those old tortoises on the land over a couple of hundred years. The Galapagos, yeah. They've got such a slow metabolism, so...
Yeah, no, dolphins basically get their fresh water from blood.
From fish?
From fish, yeah.
Wow.
So do turtles.
Yeah.
That's why they are so poorly when they arrive here. because once they get kicked out of the Lewin current, which is warm, and they hit the winter water
Yep.
here, they cool down and their metabolism shuts down.
Yep.
So they stop feeding. The
Yep,
moment
yep.
they stop feeding, they dehydrate, and when they dehydrate, basically
They end up on land.
They end up dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they get just washed up because they can't fight their current anyway.
But with most animals that can't regulate their body temperature, they're temperature activated, like you said. So if they're accustomed to being around Exmouth and all that, and then they follow the Lewin current down south, and then there's a storm and they get pushed out of the warm current, then that's where you guys kick in and rescue them and rehab them and bring them back to the
In
floor.
fact, not just us, it's really, we're doing the rehab work,
Yep.
but we can't be on every beach along the
Oh,
south.
no, mate.
That's where the storm chasers come in. So storm chasers are really everyone, members of the public, beachgoers, people walking their dogs, school kids going on excursions, volunteers, staff, doesn't matter. Anyone that's got feet or a wheelchair they can bring on the beach can be a storm chaser and look out for animals in distress anywhere.
Yeah.
And all they have to do if they find an animal, A, pick up rubbish, pick up plastic, clean
Oh,
up,
for sure.
and B, when they see an animal in distress, give us a call, give DBCA, the Wildlife Helpline, a quick call, and we are there to help. And
Yep.
then we can do something about it.
Yep.
That's where the whole idea with the storm chasers come from. Have a positive environmental impact and showing that every individual person can have an impact and does make a difference.
Of course it does. It's
Right?
like anything, mate. Simple things like not leaving rubbish. You know, because some people in boats, they'll go there, they get drunk, they do all the other stuff, they throw all the plastic bags in the water. You know, and I mean the worst thing is like an animal like this will eat the bag and die from it.
Yeah.
But even the, you know, outboards will take in the plastic bag and it'll block the intake, which causes it to cook. All that sort of stuff, you know. So
But anyway, we got to say thanks to you, Jim, because you're doing such an awful lot of work for us, and you know, helping with donations, helping.
oh,
with
you're right, mate. No
sponsorships,
dramas. That's the good thing
having-
about you
adopting
too.
turtles. You know, it's because of people like you that we are still afloat, and it makes just a huge impact. And as you can see here, you know, all of this costs a lot of money,
Yep.
and it's essentially funded through donations, partnerships, sponsorships.
I'm aware of
And
that,
this
mate,
is-
but you've got to remember, I represent our community.
Yes.
Right, so it's not me, it's
Yeah.
the community. And if the community didn't give us the numbers on this
Yeah.
to show people what
That's
we
it.
do to attract the sponsorship, there's nothing. I can't walk up to someone
No.
and go,
No.
oh, this is what I do, and they'll go, great, crazy person, you know?
That's it.
So
It
we
only works
have the
because
numbers.
We're working together.
Oh, that's right, mate.
essentially, You know, because we
Yeah.
are a community-based charity. You know, we're coming from the community, so essentially, everyone is just giving back at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is, mate. And the other thing is too, this is what I think is missing nowadays, and even I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theory, but in the old days, everybody knew everyone on the street. Nowadays, it's a bit like everyone's in fear, you know? And I mean, if we did adopt more community-based approach like this, it would make a massive impact with the flow-on effect further down the line, you know?
And people do. Lots of people looking for that.
Yep.
And that's why they get involved with people like us or
Yep.
charities like us or other, for example, other charities that, you know, do environmental work, social work or care work.
Yep.
There's so much. If you go to some of the events of Volunteer Southwest, just to name one, who basically helps all the charities, all the not-for-profits in the region to find volunteers to get involved. And if you see how many organizations there are, even in a rural town like Bunbury or Greater Bunbury with all the different shires around, and so many people try to be involved with stuff, there's also a lot of hope. You know, you
Oh.
can just see so many good examples
Yeah.
and what difference people can make. And yeah, and nowadays with social media and, you know, having the whole world being able to listen to what we say and
Oh, that's
listen
right.
to our messages, it's massive.
But mate, what I'm going to do from now on too is when we go fishing down the beach and we catch herring, I'm going to put them in the esky and I'm going to bring them down here
Yeah, they
for
can-
food and
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Right, because herring don't have a minimum legal size, they've just got a bag limit.
Yeah.
So if we get, you know, 8 or 10 herring, we'll bring them down there and it's one less expense. And the other thing I'm going to get too, you know, sometimes in summer when we have those storms that come through, we're going to do live streams walking along the beach
Yes.
trying to find sea turtles.
That would be brilliant. And just for the fact, just even it could be, you know, a different species of wildlife that got something entangled.
Yep.
Or it's just poor. You find a lot of things. That the other day we had penguins,
Yeah.
you know, sitting under a car or being in distress and stuff like that. So It could be a seal, it could be a specific bird species and stuff like that.
We have seen a seal out there.
There's one living here.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah.
And that was quite good.
We call
Who?
it Sammy.
Sammy the seal.
Because he comes in summer into the interaction zone and plays with the dolphins as
Oh,
well.
does he really?
Yeah.
Sammy's a legend.
And
Yeah,
Sammy's got some scars from, could be anything, probably a shark, but
Yeah.
that's just guessing. But they are, they're well healed. But when people see him thermoregulating or lying on the beach, so thermoregulating, he's just lying there, flippers in the air, and
Yeah.
it just soaks up the sun after
That's right.
hunting.
Yeah.
People think he's really cool, and they just see these scar wounds when they're wet. A scar that is wet on a seal still looks fresh and bleeding, but it's not. And so we get a lot of calls when he's lying on the beach somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then we go check him out if he's okay, because he could be a fresh wound as well.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
We had a small pup the other day. It wasn't a pup anymore. It was a small young seal that had bite wounds and injuries from an attack. And he got picked on by birds. So what we do in this case is check him out, contact DBCA, they send their ranger or a marine biologist to check out the animal just to see if. And at the end of the day, we'll just look for calm waters and calm conditions. But yeah, that's where it's really important that people let us know.
Before I got to know you here, we were at the Bustleton Jetty one day, and there was a dolphin there that had just behind that dorsal fin, it had a bite mark from a shark in it.
Yes.
And I reported it here. This is before I got to know you. I didn't even realise that we'd ever get to this stage, And what we were doing is when we were throwing fish back, the dolphin had come up and eat them, And I mean, with that sort of thing, I mean, that's just nature, isn't it? And I wasn't feeding the dolphin, but
bite wounds to dolphins from sharks are normal. It's the predator.
oh yeah, but this one still had one there that you could see, like on its back. And it was obviously just hiding near the jetty for protection, All right, famo. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 loggerhead sea turtles in here. And what happens is each of them gets fed individually. Number 28's a bit sprightly. It just zoomed in on that piece of food, and it's not letting anyone else have it. All right. So what happens is when they feed the sea turtles, they call out the number, right, and then that's recorded on the piece of paper so that they are all recorded and they get equal amounts of food. Yep, see? So what they'll do is they'll find 9 and they'll put food right in front of it. There we are. Whoops. You're right, man.
It was a German number they called me, and being
Oh.
German, you pick up your German number, right? But it was just a spam call. They used a German phone number.
Oh yeah. Someone in our community said they had a spam call from Australia in America, which was quite funny.
Right, I'm going to head back up again.
All right, I'll see you up there in a minute.
bit.
Yeah, they've
take
got
your
another.
time.
They've got another group coming down at 10. I'm going to wind up just before the next group comes down. Yeah. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
There used to be. Thanks, Jim.
No worries, Axel. Thanks for coming. Sorry, mate. Difficult.
Yeah.
There we go. Trying to get food down to number 4. Oh, that's number 9. Yep. So number 9's fed. They're like a litter of puppies, aren't they? All, wanting food, wanting affection. There we go. Excellent. Get in there before the others. Well done. Yeah, so Famo, what I've been doing is we've been doing the YouTube streams here, okay, and I've managed to organise some corporate sponsorship for the Discovery Centre. So what I do is when I go in and introduce myself to a business, I show them the streams and I show them the interaction from chat on the stream. Okay, and with that what we've done is we've managed to organise some corporate sponsorship for the Discovery Centre, and this is the power of streaming. All right, that way what we can do is we can help them organise to keep this going, because it's a charity It's a registered charity, and the work of the volunteers is quite often unheralded, you know.
28.
So thank you very much for tuning in to watch the stream. If we didn't have the numbers and the interaction in the chat, we wouldn't have as much. Sort of you know, pulling power as what we have in terms of seeking sponsorship for the Discovery Centre. Okay.
Yeah, let's swap over in and I'll.
Sorry, mate. You're all right. Hello, bud. It's funny of them. Some of them will have a bite to eat and then they'll swim off. I'll just ask Shana. Hey, Shane. You know when they get a mouthful of food and you see them shoot off, does that help them swallow the food or?
I don't
No?
know, I wouldn't have a clue.
Okay.
I think it's probably just making sure that nobody else steals it. You know,
Oh,
just
right.
natural-
Okay. Yep.
natural reaction.
So what's happening here is they're going to be feeding the same type of food. So I'm guessing that's squid looking at it. And then what they do is write down the number of the turtle that gets the food. And then that way they ensure they all get the same amount of food. As the gentleman was saying before, these are permanently hungry. And they have a quite fast growth rate. So, you know, with the shell, that's that's continually regenerating all the time. Hence, it like obviously they get bigger. No, okay.
My only day here.
Oh, okay. Oh,
No.
yeah. I'll ask. Yep. You know, with their shell, that's continually regenerating,
It just grows-
expanding.
Yeah, it grows with them, mate. Yeah.
Because most animals that have like an exoskeleton on them usually have to shed the exoskeleton. These guys are lucky, aren't
Yeah,
they?
is it keratin? You know,
Oh, it's keratin.
I
So,
believe so, mate.
wow. So that's good. Wow. Okay. We're learning so much about all of this. Yes, culpable, but ooh. Now, is Cosmos still in the chat? Mary, would you like to see these little pups, the stingray pups? Give us a sign, Cosmos, and then I'll show you the little pups. Hey Hank, how are you, buddy? Welcome, mate. Welcome, Hank. We're just down at the Turtle Rehab Centre, okay? And what's happening is they've cut the food up, and now what they're doing is they're just feeding each turtle individually, okay, to ensure that they all get fed. Fantastic job that our volunteers do, okay?
Before I end up getting it.
Oh. Number 9 or 4 just shot off and headbutted the wall.
That's flapping.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, compo that is. And the ball's still got a little bit of food in its mouth. It's like a seagull, you know, trying to.
Oh yeah, when they steal a chip, you know. Oh, they're foxes of the skies, those things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like cormorants. Oh yeah, they're hilarious.
26. Vodka. No, I haven't got the food here.
Okay, here we go. Here's your little stingrays, Cosmos. There we go, just in here. There they are, just down at the back. Let's have a look. No, yeah, there it is. There's the little stingray pup. Okay? And the other one's just milling around behind it, see? Hello, buddy. And there's the other one there, just behind that pipe. I can't get it into camera focus. There we go. Hello. All right. And they cover them up so they don't fly out of the tank, which they're quite susceptible to doing. Not at all, Will. I don't eat McDonald's, I don't eat Hungry Jack's, and I don't eat any of the Kentucky Fried stuff either, mate. I cook at home. I look like I do, but I don't. And I don't even really drink that much either, so I've just got that log chopper body type, you know. Yeah, I refuse to eat Red Rooster and Chicken Treat and Kentucky Fried. I don't even drink lemonade, mate. I haven't drunk lemonade since I had my heart surgery. What about you, Will? Do you eat a lot of it or not? Because one thing that amazes me is how many people actually eat McDonald's. You know, 6 o'clock in the morning and the drive-thru's full. You know what I mean?
What we do is up in that big tank we'll try and feed, we'll try and do it as well. It's a bit difficult with a big tank to do as well. So yeah, take that up.
Once a month. Okay, culpable.
Right. And the same food goes up or a different?
No, I have different food.
So you put this in the fridge? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Full of water, so it's like tip it over. Reminds me when we come back, I'll get that water out there.
Again, you grab that red,
These loggerhead turtles actually have like a hooked beak at the front of them. Yeah. Sounds like heaven, does it, Dr. Chemistry? All right. Wow, McDonald's in Sweden has chicken wings. Awesome. And also, OzFam, thank you very much for the support yesterday in that stream that we did with the fishing. As you can see out there, the weather's quite bad today, right? It's been raining pretty steadily overnight. We might do a fishing stream tomorrow, then again we might not, but we'll be definitely doing one on the Saturday, okay? So with the brim out at the moment, we've still got no beach to fish, Femo, right? And like I said, this year, when we catch herring and when we catch whiting down at our local beaches, right, we will be bringing the herring and the whiting back here for the turtles to eat. Okay? Oh, poor Cosmos has had an epiphany. Oh, McDonald's is better than Europe than here. Wow, the turtle just tried to chew some of that coral. There we go, look, he's trying to have a little bit of a, maybe it's cleaning its teeth, I don't know. Here he is, look, there he goes. See it? Yeah, I did in 2015, Mary. So, yeah, I was going through a bit of a rough patch. I never had the elevation that they have with a heart attack and that, but I just had a small blockage. And my troponin was something ridiculous, like 24,000. And they couldn't quite get to the blockage with a stent, so they had to do the triple bypass. No, not really, Will. Nothing like that. It's just there's been a history of heart surgery in the family. Not heart surgery, like heart problems in the family. And I think I just got the rough end of the pineapple with the genetics, you know. So if I drink too much coffee, I do, but that's like anyone, isn't it? Yeah, so what they do is they can actually go up through your groin area, and they can put like a little coil in your arteries to open it up, or they get the little balloon out and it sort of cures the blockage. Yeah, they did a case study on diet of like street kids and that. So what they did is they got them into a controlled environment and they removed all the junk food from their diet, and they got them to eat really healthy, really natural food, and the change in behaviour was quite significant, you know. Now, culpable, before you do that, just think of all those chickens hanging out at the front of McDonald's with their homeless signs and their donation tins, and they can't take donations because they don't have wings, culpable. Think about your actions, okay? It's like in France where they have those frogs with no legs belting around in their little wheelchairs out the front of restaurants trying to get donos, you know? You know, there's a flow-on effect there, culpable. You need to think through it a bit more often. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, oh gee, I'd like to give this chicken a donation that culpable's just eaten the wings from. Oh no, it's got no wings to take the donation with. So, I'll tell you. Hello, X-ray specialist Punk. How are you, buddy? Yes, we're at a turtle rehab centre, and with the turtle rehab centre, what happens is these turtles are brought in from the community. They're actually a northern species that follows the Lewin Current down as it goes past the coast of Western Australia. Now the Lewin Current's quite warm, then they start hitting the areas with the they get knocked off course through their migration south with the Lewin Current. Then when they get into the colder waters of the Indian Ocean and the Southern Ocean, they shut down. They end up on a beach, okay? So what they do is members of the community bring the turtles back in here, all right? And then when they bring the turtles back in here, what that does is that allows them to be rehabilitated, okay? And oh, thanks, X-ray specialist Punk. We're going to go back to daily live streaming when we get a chance. I'm still waiting for the beach to come back so we can start streaming down at the beach again. Okay, now this is Shane. Shane's a much larger turtle. Shane's about 3.3 kilos or 3.23 kilos. Shane's going to get to 4 kilos, and then next year in March they're going to fly Shane up to Exmouth, and then they're going to let Shane go back into the wild. Okay? And the other thing they do here too, X-ray specialist Punk, is they actually breed clownfish. So let's get this up here. Now, I didn't know this, but clownfish are actually quite aggressive. Okay? A bit bitey. So these are the tomato clownfish. Okay? This is the gold band maroon clownfish. Now that's going to swim straight up to the phone guarding its territory, because they're actually quite aggressive and they're quite bitey. Okay, these are the Clark eye, right back through here. I didn't realise the clownfish was so aggressive, right? And then of course you've got the Nemo variety, which is I think the peculiar. Where's Nemo? Let's have a look. So this is Nemo here. No, yeah, there's Nemo there, the peculiar. Okay. Yeah, and then we also have a seahorse. I think this is a pregnant seahorse. It's the male, so that's just getting ready to deliver the bubbies, you know. And this is the Clark eye clownfish. Okay, now there we are. That'd be a good little screensaver, wouldn't it, if I shut up? Right, there we go. Check that out. Yeah. This is a sea turtle that got brought in from Windy Harbour, and that's quite ironic because we are going to be doing live streams from Windy Harbour, hopefully, okay? And here we go. Now, this is Yoni, right? Yoni was found at Windy Harbour, which is the Southern Ocean. Yoni's been brought back to Bunbury here, okay? Now, when they first bring them in, they'll do like 75% freshwater, 25% saltwater, and then what they will do is eventually swap that round to full saltwater, and then they'll put them in the tank. So at the moment, Yoni's just having a bit of a snooze, okay? Either that or it's been told off and it's now in the naughty corner. I'm guessing the first option might be the most practical one. And what they even do here, Punk, is they actually have real anemones that they bring in so that they can recreate the natural environment of the clownfish. So see that? We've got a beautiful little clownfish just doing its stuff, doing what it was designed to do with nature, working in and around the anemone, okay? And away they go. And in here, we have the gold band maroon clownfish. This has been fed with a brine solution. These little buggers are the size, well, they've grown a bit bigger actually. The one at the back there is about the size of my little fingernail, and the one at the front is probably the size of my thumbnail. So they're quite small. They have, well, the tanks upstairs are full saltwater culpable, so they do get brought back to full salt. So here we go, and what they do too is when they get them strong enough, they'll bring them down in here, okay? And then they've just been fed, so they're just milling around doing what turtles do, okay? Hello Christopher, how are you my friend? Welcome to the stream. And what happens is, like, they had some sea turtles. I'm just going to see which camera we've got, hang on. That's better. So they've got some little baby stingrays in here. So there's one that always hangs out in the corner. So this stingray was born, or this pup as it's called, was born upstairs in the aquarium. Then they bring it down here and they cover the top of the tank, and they'll bring it back to a certain size before they let it go into the aquarium again. So there we are. Right, there's both of them there next to each other. Right. And their tails at this age are usually 1.5 times the length of their body. Right. And then as well as that, they also have a coral garden, believe it or not. So what they'll do is when they go out and they do the diving and that sort of stuff, well, they don't give them names, Will. They give them numbers. So that way when they're feeding them and they're taking a record of what they're being fed, they can easily identify all the turtles, because, you know, most turtles look the same unless they have some form of identification on them. So, in here, oh, they are. And this is a coral bed, as is that one. Okay, some of the colours in there are quite striking, right? And then what they'll do is they're breeding this coral so that they can put that in the display upstairs. It just provides a natural habitat for the fish. Okay, I think that's a type of sea star there, and that's the blue fish from Nemo hiding in the corner. All right, there we go. Good work. Now, Famo, at the moment today, they've got 100 students up here at the Discovery Centre, so we're going to have a short stream today. Right, there we go. So look, yeah, I didn't know whether to put that back on, pal. I didn't want to touch anything, you know. No, I've turned it around as soon as you walked in. You know, it is a low budget production, but we're not that low budget. You know. Now, fam, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much to everyone that's given up their time to watch. And, excuse me, as Axel said before, we have managed to organise some corporate sponsorship, and also I've donated and adopted a turtle as part of the program on behalf of the community that watches. Okay. Oh, thanks, Christopher. We've got a lot more interesting stuff coming up this year, fam. This is only the tip of the iceberg. In some instances, we just need to, you know, oh dear, culpable. I tell you, what's the emergency number in Sweden, culpable? All right, so look, fam, thank you very, very much. Everybody that comes in to watch the stream gives us more information when we go and chase sponsors for the Discovery Centre. This is the power of streaming. If you do it for the right thing, okay, and you've got a good community like ours, we end up doing great things together, okay? So stay safe and stay well. Be the best person you can be every day. I'm going to swap this round to the turtles, right? And then that way we will call it a day on the stream, fam. All right, see you, fam. Have a lovely day or evening in your world. Bye for now. Yeah, and when he comes to Australia, the only number that he's going to have in his little black book is 000. See ya. Bye, Will. Bye, Daz. Okay. Yeah, culpable. If you ever come to Australia, you're not going anywhere near my mother. Okay? Just thought I'd throw that out there. Thank you very much for coming in, Dr. Chemistry, Cosmos, Culpable, Wild Huntress. Thank you very much for giving up your time to Mod, Cartoon Head, X-Ray Specialist, Punk, Will, everyone that's come in. Thank you very, very much. This is great. Okay, bye for now. No, Cosmos, don't let Culpable near your mother.